Sup to all my fellow truth seekers out there. I don't mean to alarm anyone, but we need to talk about an ancient parasitic entity that still leeches off of society today. I'm of course referring to monarchies and royal families. Did you know the British royal family costs Canadian taxpayers an average of $58.7 million per year? That comes out to roughly $1.55 per sucker. Oops, I meant to say taxpayer. On second thought, never mind. I was actually right the first time. Admittedly, not all that tax money finds its way into the pockets of this cowardly clan of globalist clowns. A good chunk of this money goes toward covering the expenses of the Governor General's office, as well as other related costs, such as covering travel expenses for visiting royals.
Just what the fuck is a Governor General?
I hear some of you asking. Okay, time for a quick lesson on the wackiness of Canadian politics. The Governor General is the federal representative of the Canadian monarch, or sovereign, if you like using fancy words that fool people into thinking you're not a dumbass. The monarch of Canada is also sovereign and head of state for 14 other Commonwealth realms, but lives in the UK. By the way, Commonwealth realms just mean countries that were once colonies of Britain, but are independent nations now. Well, allegedly at least. The monarch, on the advice of the Canadian Prime Minister, appoints a Governor General to administer the government of Canada in the monarch's name. The Governor General is expected to carry out both constitutional duties as well as ceremonial duties. So, let's start by listing off some of the Governor General's constitutional duties. The Governor General gets to appoint lieutenant governors, Supreme Court justices, as well as senators. Apart from being an unelected official who gets to assign positions of power and privilege to fellow unelected officials, the Governor General's other constitutional duties include signing orders in council, such as summoning, proroguing, and dissolving the federal parliament, granting royal assent to bills, calling elections, and signing commissions for officers of the Canadian Armed Forces. Now, let's look at the Governor General's far less important ceremonial duties. Delivering the speech from the throne at the opening of Parliament, accepting letters of credence from incoming ambassadors, and distributing honors, decorations, and medals. Also keep in mind, the Governor General almost always acts on the advice of the Prime Minister, but I seriously doubt that advice is binding. Let's be honest, would you take advice from either of these two schmucks? Nope, neither would I.
Hang on. I thought Canada was a democracy.
Many moons ago. So did I. But as it turns out, we're actually a constitutional monarchy and a parliamentary democracy. In other words, kinda, sorta, but not really. Just to recap, Canada is a constitutional monarchy, and the British Crown sits at the top of its political hierarchy despite Canada being a sovereign nation. So now we come to the $58.7 million question. Why are we paying any money at all on these overdressed parasites? What exactly does Canada get out of this deal? The so-called privilege of having the late Queen's Hun face on our currency? I fail to see the benefit. Never forget, all tax is theft. And royal families are living proof of that. Still don't believe me? Then look a little closer. Thanks for watching. Remember to click like, comment, share, subscribe, follow, and all that other shit. But most importantly, let's make guillotines great again.
Ha 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 ha!